And we're back with the program. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being with us today on the program. And
it was
tough. I know it's tough indeed. A moment of silence. That was, I just want to make sure everybody, knows that I wanted to take a moment of silence for my fantasy football team this weekend because they were dead on arrival. But besides that, it was a great week. It was a great week 4 in the NFL, and who better to cover it with us than our good friend Tyler Baker of the Fantasy Football Pay Dirt podcast, which you can get today. You can listen to an awesome podcast on fantasy football each and every Tuesday and also Saturday as well on Apple Podcasts, Libsyn, Overcast.fm, Player.fm. He's also got a great new site, ffpaydirt.com, and his awesome Facebook group, Fantasy Football Pay Dirt Podcast. The list is growing, Tyler. I'm telling you. I'm going to take, our whole segment is just going to be devoted to promoting your stuff.
I just want to help people get better at fantasy, and there should probably be a lot of moments of silence. A number of injuries today. Probably the most significant, Dalvin Cook, the star rookie running back for bad. The Minnesota Vikings. It looks like he has a torn ACL. He's out for the year.
What a shame.
An MRI. Yeah, an MRI is going to confirm that, but that's what everyone's saying. And even last week we were talking about with Case Keenum coming in that this is just a really good football team, and I think a big part of that was what Dalvin Cook was doing on the field. And wow, what a big blow. Also, the only running back that was really getting things going in Seattle, Chris Carson, just finished watching that game. It looks like he broke his leg. Now that isn't confirmed, but just they only showed the replay once, but it looked like, I mean, you could almost see it snap. And so the rookie that was really coming on and really being a bright spot in such a dismal offense, looks like he's out for the year too.
Derek Carr for a lot of people there.
Derek Carr
hurt his back. They said he's going to be okay for this game, but you know how that how that process is over the course of the week. Something could act up or whatnot. So obviously, fantasy football fans get in touch with you and keep in touch with what you're reporting just to make sure he's going to be okay.
Yeah, my Tuesday podcast will touch on all of these things. It looked like I was watching the game. It looked like that he just caught I would guess it's a bruised vertebrae. Jack Del Rio after the game said it was back spasms, which just sounds like a contusion that wouldn't go away. So I think it's bruised. The hit wasn't that bad. It didn't seem like the back was twisting at the time. So I think it's just, he just caught a knee in the back. Also, Marcus Mariota, quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, he hurt his hamstring. He's going to need an MRI. That could be a very big blow to this offense. Tennessee's offense pretty much revolves around what Mariota can do, and his backup would be Matt Cassel. So there was a lot going on today that just a lot of these teams are in really bad spots right now, and they're going to be scrambling next week to kind of figure out how they're going to cope with some of these losses.
Well, Matt Cassel made a lot of money being Tom Brady's backup. Who knows? This might be the chance that he can get again, because once he was out on his own, he didn't quite fare so well.
Not quite. I mean, he's a capable backup. He's been in the league. He's a veteran. He just does not have anywhere near their skill set. Mariota can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his arm. I don't know if Matt Cassel can beat you either one of those ways. I think that they're definitely going to rely on that exotic smash mouth that they have going on with Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray. So you might see a lot more running in the next couple of weeks until we find out what's going on with Mariota.
Well, enough of the doldrums, including exactly. Didn't want me to start off on a downer note for everybody, but I wanted to get everybody up to date, including all the stuff that went on with my team. But we won't talk about that too much. But again, it's Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pay Dirt Podcast. Get it today on Apple Podcasts, Libsyn, and I'll tell you what. There's got to be a lot of great performances out there. In fact, I know one in Houston that left everybody impressed.
Yes. Deshaun Watson. Now, I haven't watched the game film, and I will tell you, I've heard this before where a rookie has a big performance, and suddenly everybody all over CNN is talking about he's the greatest thing that has ever happened to the game of football. I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon just yet. Again, I haven't watched the game film, but what I have seen from him so far this season, you see a lot of really good, and then you also see a lot of bad. So I'm going to assume that this was a game where just the good came out. Again, I haven't watched it yet, but he put up great numbers. Houston scored 52 points, and that is certainly something you like to see. I'm sorry, 57 points. Against Tennessee, man, that's something you really like to see in a rookie, and especially a franchise that hails from a city that has been going through so much in the last month. For there to be a nice bright spot, because when they first came into the season, oh man, it was looking really bad, and for them to kind of turn the corner, and I'm sure right now in the city of Houston, things are being rebuilt and things are happening, and for this to happen, it's definitely a feel good story.
Definitely, indeed. What other things did you see, or what other things stood out to you as far as Week 4 in the NFL?
Mm-hmm. Well, the Miami Dolphins might be a bad football team. I mean, they might actually be terrible. That new Jay Cutler smell has kind of faded.
Jay Ajayi, what a great homecoming for him, not.
I'm still very much a believer in the player. It's just right now that offense can't do anything. And I put a lot of that blame on Adam Gase and on it. They are just not getting it done there against a bad defense that we kind of mocked early in the week. You and I said that if I was playing fullback and you were halfback, we could get 100 yards on the Saints. Well, I don't think the Saints defense has improved much. I just think this offense really needs to figure out what the heck is going on. We did see Le'Veon Bell got back to Le'Veon Bell status this week. He put up a pretty good stat line. We did see a couple of young running backs kind of bloom in New York. Well, both New York teams had some young running backs that got a little bit of a chance to play, and both of them did pretty well. And I'll talk about those guys on my waiver show. So there were definitely some good games, and there were some great performances, but unfortunately, I think a lot of it was just overshadowed by a couple of really good players that you just hate to see them go down. It was just a very tough week in the NFL.
Definitely, indeed. And for those who might have gotten on the Dalvin Cook hype train and I picked him up, that's going to be a big loss for people who were riding high on him early in the season. Are there any quick fixes or things you can see that maybe might help out people that might be something good to get for the long haul?
Yeah, I'll touch on it a little bit more on my waiver show, but in this game, you saw Latavius Murray come in and kind of play a lot. I don't think that's going to be the case moving forward. They don't have a guy that can do what Dalvin Cook was doing. But I think the next best thing, I guess, is Jerick McKinnon, who's an athletic guy, athletic enough that he can kind of do some of the things that Cook did. So in this game, we saw a lot more Murray. I have a feeling moving forward, it's going to be a lot more Jerick McKinnon.
Definitely, that's something to go by right there. It's a little sneak peek, but you also check out his waiver wire special. That's every Tuesday. It's going to be on the Fantasy Football Pay Dirt podcast. Check out his site, ffpaydirt.com. And also as well, if you have questions for him, a great place to go is the Facebook group, Fantasy Football Pay Dirt Podcast, and you can ask those questions directly. And you're going to get a lot of feedback from him on, should you do this trade? Should I pick up this guy on waivers? What lineup should I make? All those questions get answered by him and his staff there. And plus, a lot of people weigh in with their thoughts as well. So it's a great place to crowdsource to get that answer for your lineup starting this Thursday and obviously this coming weekend. So it's definitely great information indeed. If you're a fantasy football junkie out there, you have got to try the Fantasy Football Pay Dirt Podcast Facebook group, ffpaydirt.com, and of course on Apple Podcasts and Libsyn, it's Fantasy Football Pay Dirt Podcast. Tyler, can't wait to talk some more NFL and some more fantasy with you this coming weekend. Hopefully it'll be a better Much better. Much better. Much better.
It can't get worse, right?
Yeah, it can get worse. But let's hope it'll be a much better conversation this coming weekend.
I hope so. It was always great talking to you. Thank you.
Great talking to you as well. And oh yeah, that's right. It will be because Blade Runner 2049 will be out. Yay!
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Can't wait. I'm gonna put it almost like in every segment. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But thanks again, Tyler. We truly appreciate, as always, you being part of the pop culture cosmos.